restart our session after Diwali. Uh, Before that, we had a short session on tissues, right? We began with biology this time, and we had a session on cells, the structure of cells and nucleus, and then we shifted to the organization of tissues. We learned about meristematic tissues in plants, and now we will go for understanding the permanent tissues. What were meristematic tissues? Does anyone remember? What are meristematic tissues in plants? Okay, so there is no revision done by you people. No issues. We'll go ahead with the current session. Meristematic tissues are basically the growing tissues of plants that are present in the growing parts. That is the tip, the width, the tip. On the tip, the meristematic tissue that is present is called apical meristem. Then there is lateral meristem, which is present in the sides, which provides the width to the stem of the plants. And the last one is intercalary, which is present in the nodes of leaves, the nodal part of leaves. That is the part from where the leaves or the head of the leaf starts to come out of the branch of the plant. Okay, so that is where intercalary tissue or intercalary meristem comes in picture. Today we will understand another type of tissues in plants, that is permanent tissues. The permanent tissues in plants have two types, simple permanent and complex permanent. Today we will understand simple permanent tissues. What are simple permanent tissues? They are the tissues which provide the structural strength to the plants, which are responsible for the structure, for the standing position of the plants. As we learned in the previous session, that the plants need mechanical support to stand still, unlike in animals, because animals are locomotive, they keep on moving, so they do not need mechanical support for their bodies, but plants do. So this support is provided by simple permanent tissues. There are three types. We will understand them in detail. Uh, for your better understanding, today I have given you handwritten presentation. Let's see what I mean. I have written the points of each type of the simple permanent tissue, and I've given you that. So I'll share my screen. I'll explain what simple permanent tissues are. Give me a moment. Once I start sharing, just someone please let me know if the screen is visible to you. Is the screen visible? Is the presentation visible?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes. Okay. Okay. So we will first understand the concept of differentiation. Like I said in the previous session, that the meristematic tissues are growing tissues. That means they are living tissues and they keep on changing their form throughout their life. But there comes a time where these tissues convert into dead tissues. They stop growing at a particular point of time and become permanent tissues. Understand through the name permanent tissues. That means there is no further change in their structural organization. They become permanent tissues. And this process of taking up a permanent shape, size, and function by a tissue is called differentiation. This is a very important definition, very important concept of differentiation in plants. The differentiation in animals is a different thing. So your short homework would be understand the difference between the terms differentiation in plants and differentiation in animals. If you want, please note down that what you have to find out what is differentiation in animals and in plants. Give me two different definitions of both. One I have given, I want the definition of differentiation in animals and how it is different from this one. Is that clear?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So, like I said, once they become permanent, they are divided into two types: simple permanent and complex permanent. Today, we will understand simple permanent tissues. What are simple permanent tissues? They are the tissues which lie beneath the epidermis. The few layers of cells beneath the epidermis are the simple permanent tissue. Now the question should be, what is epidermis? Epidermis is the uppermost layer of a plant. It is like the skin of the plant. Your skin is called your epidermis. So for plants also, if there is matlab the uppermost layer is called epidermis. We will understand what epidermis is towards the end of this presentation. But the layers of cells which are located beneath the epidermis are called simple permanent tissue. There are three types of simple permanent tissues: parenchyma, collenchyma, and sclerenchyma. Please make sure you remember the names along with their types and functions very appropriately. It is very important. So we'll go for the first type, which we call as parenchyma. What are parenchyma? Parenchyma is the most simple permanent tissue. The parenchyma consists of relatively unspecialized cell with thin cell walls. As you can see here, here is the parenchyma, and the parenchymic cells are they have extremely thin cell walls as compared to other cells. In next slide, you will see the cells of other permanent tissues, and you will understand why we call this as a thin cell wall. Why does it have a thin cell wall? We will understand by its function. Understand that the cells of parenchyma are living, very important. Now you must have a question that meristematic cells are living, then we say that they become permanent. But it does not mean that they are dead. They will stop growing, but the cells are still living. They are performing their functions. They are not dead. The dead cells in plants are basically the hard parts of plants. Okay. These cells are usually loosely arranged, thus have large intercellular spaces. As you can see, these white portions, can you see between the cells? These white portions are large as compared to other permanent cells in parenchymatic tissues. Understood? They have they generally store food. Parenchyma generally stores food. So can you see here the vacuole? If you can see that around 30 to 40% of the parenchymatic cell consists of the vacuole, because its function is to store food. And vacuoles, as you know, as we have discussed earlier, vacuoles are the organelles which store food for cells, right? So they have large vacuoles to allow them to store good amount of food. As you can see here, the vacuoles of each cell are large. They occupy a higher percentage of cell area, right? There are two other types of parenchyma itself. The two types are chlorenchyma and erenchyma. Chlorenchyma are the tissues that contain chlorophyll and that performs the function of photosynthesis. Chlorenchyma, as you can look at the name, chlorenchyma are specifically the parenchymatic tissues. They are type of parenchyma, okay? don't misunderstand it as a separate simple permanent tissue. It is a type of parenchyma, so this is all common in that. It consists of unspecialized cells, thin cell walls. It is all common for chlorenchyma. But the speciality is it contains chlorophyll. So that particular tissue, chlorenchyma, is responsible for the function of photosynthesis in plants. And second type of parenchyma is aerenchyma. Aerenchyma is the parenchymatic tissue, which contains the large air cavities. That is, the large portion of aerenchymatic tissue is made up of airbags. That is, it can absorb air and it can store air. Why does it need that kind of cavities? Is because it is present. Aerenchyma is found in aquatic plants, as you can see here. It is found in aquatic plants, which help the plants to float on water. So basically, what will float on water? Which contains air, which keeps them lightweight, which allows them to stay on the top of the surface of water. So the parenchyma tissue, which has large air cavities, which are usually present in plants or in aquatic plants, they help them float in water, are called aerenchyma. This is about parenchyma. Your other activity to do at home would be like this one. This is a generalized diagram of parenchyma. What I want you to do is you go and find out the diagrams, specific diagrams of chlorenchyma and aerenchyma. As explained here, aerenchyma contains air cavities. So you will also see air cavities like these, as you can see the large vacuoles. In aerenchyma also you will see large air cavities. So I want you to share two pictures of chlorenchyma and aerenchyma in the group. Is that clear? Does anyone have any question regarding parenchyma? So if not, we can move ahead with next type. Anyone? Please just say yes or no. Yes? Everyone is clear with this?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Please just respond to that question, okay? Thank you. Okay.
Okay, ma'am.
Moving ahead with the second type of simple permanent tissue, which we call as collenchyma. What is the function of collenchyma? It is basically providing flexibility to the plants. So if you understand how flexibility can be provided, flexibility in the sense bending, allowing the bending of various plants, various parts, allowing or providing mechanical support by not breaking the part of that part of that plant. So basically, what is collenchyma doing? It's providing flexibility. It allows bending of various parts of a plant like tendrils and stems of climbers without breaking. So whenever you see tubers or climbers or a thin stem which can be easily folded or it can be rotated, it is because of presence of collenchyma in that particular part of the plant. They can also be found in the leaf stalks below the epidermis. What are leaf stalks? The needle of the leaf, the end part of the leaf, the central part, and what comes out of the uh, leaf towards the end is called leaf stalk, which is also foldable. That is why collenchyma is present in leaf parts also, leaf stalks also. Again, the cells of collenchyma are living, elongated and irregularly thickened at the corners. As you can see here, look at the difference between the cell walls, the thickness of cell wall. The blue part, the sky blue part in this diagram is the cell wall. And as you can see here, the thickness, see this purple part, thickened corners, they are irregularly thick at the corners. Now, understand why this kind of structure. The thickness provides mechanical strength, and the thickness of the cell wall provides flexibility. Because it is thick, it becomes less breakable. So it provides flexibility. And of course the vacuoles are also large here. As you can see, almost 70 to 80% of the area is consumed by vacuoles. They are arranged in such a way that there is very less intercellular spaces. Of course, here you can see these are 4 cells, but as you can see, there is no intercellular spaces between these cells. Almost negligible intercellular space. Why do you think there is very less intercellular space here? Can anyone tell me that? What will change if there is a high intercellular space? What will happen? Anyone?
The plant will lose its mechanical support.
Also the flexibility. Because if there is intercellular space, uh, the stem will become weak, right? So flexibility and mechanical strength both. That is why they are designed like that, because they are providing the mechanical support and flexibility to the plants. All right. Moving on to the last part, that is sclerenchyma. Sclerenchyma is the tissue that makes the plant hard, and that is why the cells of sclerenchyma are dead. The parts of plants which are hard, like husk of a coconut or the branch or the wooden part of the plant, they are all made up of sclerenchymatic tissues, which consist of dead tissues or dead cells. The cells are long and narrow, as the walls are thickened due to lignin. As you can see, the cells are elongated, they are long and narrow. Uh, this is the transverse section. The cells are narrow as compared to other permanent tissues, and they are, see, this is the longitudinal section. That is, if you cut this and look it in left right direction, it will look like this. So this is a thick wall which is thickened due to presence of lignin. What is lignin? Lignin is kind of a fluid which is present in the cell walls of sclerenchymatic tissues to provide it an unusual thickness which gives the hardness to the plants. Understood what lignin is? Do you have any question
Ma'am, could you say that one more time?
about?
Lignin.
Okay. Lignin is basically a fluid. Excuse me. Yeah. Yeah, so I was saying lignin is basically a fluid which is present in the cell walls of the plants, which gives it the thickness, which gives it uh, a hardness to the plants, where you can see if we say that sclerenchyma is present in husk of a coconut, that thickness, that woody thickness of the plant is because of presence of lignin in the cell walls of sclerenchymatic tissues. Lignin is basically a fluid component which gives a particular kind of thickness which is compressed into the cell wall, and it makes the cell wall extremely thick and hard. Clear?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. The cell walls are so thick that there is no internal space inside the cell also. As you can see here, the inner side of the cell also does not have the space as compared to other tissues. See, the broadness of the cell inside the inside part of the cell is large as compared to sclerenchyma because of the thickness. Understood? Sclerenchyma is present in stems around vascular bundles. Vascular bundles are phloem, xylem, which we will understand in the next session, in the veins of leaves, and in the hard covering of seeds and nuts. So wherever there is a woody covering or wherever there is a hard covering in the plant, understand that it is specifically made up of sclerenchyma. Of course, because it is hard, it provides the strength to the plant parts. Clear?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. If you have any questions, please raise your hand, or I'll go ahead with the last portion, that is epidermis. Any questions?
No, ma'am.
Okay. So moving on with the last portion of this, it is epidermis. Like I said earlier, epidermis is nothing but the outermost layer of the cell, which we call as epidermis. It is usually made of a single layer of cells. It is very thin. As you can see here, the cells are single layered. Only one layer of cell is there. The blue part, the light blue part here in the diagram is the epidermis. Okay, it is the single layer. In some plants living in very dry habitats, the epidermis is a bit thicker to prevent water loss, which is very obvious, which is very logical. The entire surface of a plant has an outer covering epidermis which protects all the parts of the plant, like your skin. Basically, the epidermis in plants also acts as skin in your body, in animal's body. It protects all the other parts of the plant which are inside the plants. Okay, it is the outer layer basically. Epidermal cells on the aerial parts of the plant often secrete a waxy, water resistant layer thin on their outer surface. As you have you seen at times that leaves have shiny appearance. Many parts or many leaves have a shiny appearance because the leaves, they are aerial part of the plant, they are present in the air. uh, so those parts release, the epidermal cells on those parts release a waxy coating which will provide the water resistance property to the plant. So the water will not soak into the leaves, protecting the leaves from dying out. This layer helps in protection against loss of water also, mechanical injury and invasion by parasitic fungi. There are chances, as the parts of plants are in air, they are aerial parts. There are three possible chances of damage: excessive water loss from inner side of the plant into the environment. Secondly, mechanical injury, that is the cutting of or the tearing of the leaves, or invasion by parasitic fungi. Invasion means attack. Parasites might attack plants if there is no waxy coating, and they will keep on eating up the plant till it is dead. But these waxy layers allow the or prevent the parasitic attack on the plants. The cells of epidermal tissue form a continuous layer without intercellular spaces. Of course, it is necessary to form a continuous layer, because if there is a break in the continuous or in the outermost layer, that break, that gap will provide the path to to enter the plant and damage it. Okay, so it is obviously it is a continuous layer without intercellular spaces. Like I said, like in our like our skin, most epidermal cells are flat, and their outer and side walls are thicker than inner walls. Most epidermal cells are flat, and their outer and side walls are thicker than inner walls. This is the structure. Basically, this is the structure of epidermal cells. Specific cells. I do not have the image of a single cell, but understand this is the structure of a specific one cell of the epidermis, which is flat. Their outer and side walls are thicker to give them a supportive structure. That is about epidermis. Are we clear today?
Yes,
Please say.
ma'am.
Huh? Okay. So note down your work for today. There are 3 4 points like I said. One is finding out the meaning of differentiation in animals. Finding out the meaning of differentiation in animals. Second, getting the images of chlorenchyma and arenchyma with labels. Searching and understanding the images of chlorenchyma and arenchyma. And lastly, getting an image of a single epidermal cell to understand its structure, how it is flat and how the outer and side walls are thick. These are the 4 things that you will mark for the as a part of your homework. In the next session, we will be understanding stomata and the complex permanent tissues in plants, that is xylem and phloem, which you have already understood in the previous classes, but we will go into the explanation of xylem and phloem. Take 5 minutes to read the portions. I will be conducting a small questionnaire after this. Take 5 minutes to read this. Okay, are you done reading? Everyone? Yes, everyone is done reading so that I can start with the questionnaire. Okay, fine. Are you able to see the screen?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Okay, let's start then. The process of taking up a permanent shape, size, and function by a tissue is called
Differentiation.
Differentiation.
simple permanent tissues are found. They are found where
Beneath the epidermis.
beneath the
Beneath the
epidermis.
epidermis.
Which of these is a simple permanent tissue?
Parenchyma.
Right. The main function of colon is
Support.
support. Which of the following is a complex permanent tissue?
Xylem.
Xylem.
Yeah. The outermost protective layer of the plant is called
Epidermis.
the three types are parenchyma, collenchyma, and
Sclerenchyma.
Scleroderma.
complex permanent tissues are made of more than one type of cells. Uh, we will cover that in the next session. The process of dash helps tissues to specialize for specific functions. This is an applicative question. Which process will allow the tissues to specialize and perform a specific function? Nothing but the process of differentiation, because once they are differentiated, they have a specific function to perform. Correct? Xylem and phloem are two types of complex permanent tissues which we will understand in the next session. Just simply state true or false. Differentiation means all tissues remain undifferentiated.
False.
Correct. Because they are actually differentiated to become permanent, to become differentiated and perform a specific function. Collenchyma provides flexibility to plants.
True.
Xylem helps in transporting food. Again, that we will understand in the next session. But it is actually phloem that helps in transporting food. That you must have learned in the earlier sessions. Sclerenchyma cells have thick cell walls. True or false?
True.
Because of presence of
Lignin.
lignin. Correct. Epidermis is made up of living cells only. It is actually true. Epidermis has living cells. Name the tissue that transport water in plants. It is xylem. Another is phloem. Which plant tissue is responsible for strength and rigidity?
Sclerenchyma.
For strength and rigidity, sclerenchyma. Right. What type of tissue forms the outer covering of a leaf?
Epidermis.
Outer covering, yeah, correct, epidermis. So are we clear? Are we clear with this part of the plant tissues?
Yes, ma'am.
Does anyone have any questions? Saundarya, Sachin Patel, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah. Any
Yes, ma'am.
questions? Did you understand the session?
Yes, ma'am.
Ma'am, I
Srinidhi,
still don't get the meaning of differentiation.
my dear, differentiation is the process by which the growing tissues. Basically, there are certain tissues which continue to grow, and there comes a time where they stop growing and they form a structure which will perform a specific function. This process
Okay, ma'am.
of, of attaining a specific shape, size, and function for a tissue is called differentiation.
Okay, ma'am.
Okay. Srinidhi, are we clear with the simple permanent tissues? Ashrita, everyone is clear? Please respond with yes or no. All right, fine. So I hope you have noted down what you have to do, and I expect that in within 2 3 days from now on, in the next part, we will understand the structure and functions of stomata, xylem, and phloem. Okay?
Okay, ma'am.
Okay, ma'am.
All right, that's all for today. Have a good night. Bye bye. Goodbye.
Thank you, ma'am.
Okay, thank you.